Hey, to all you sports fans, did you know that you can stream this podcast on Spotify right now? It's easy. Open the app on your mobile device or desktop, click on the Browse channel, and then click on the podcast section. You can also stream on your smart speaker. Now, it is that much easier for you to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest things in all things sports, thanks to Spotify.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast for Tuesday, March 20th, 2018. Gentlemen, I'm so excited to be here.
You sound it.
Andy, Mike, and Jason back once again. Now, I wanted to play one of our player introductions. You know, we've interviewed some players on the show.
Kristen Michael, I know.
And they say,
I know.
Yeah, Kristen Michael. And they say, hey,
Jobless.
My name's David Johnson, and the Arizona Cardinals, and welcome to the show. And then boom, there you are. You're in the show. And I'm looking through this thing, and I'm like, Allen Robinson's not on the Jags. Matt Forte, he's retired now. And Willie Snead, Snead's not going to be on the Saints. And
We're just going to have to update him. So say, this is Allen Robinson from the Bears.
yeah, pretty much. But welcome into the show. We've got a great one today. A lot more, a ton of news. We have a bunch of signings, some more free agency to talk about. We have a mailbag part of the show today. We'll answer your questions, get you ready for the draft, whether that's the NFL draft and then eventually the 2018 fantasy draft. So we have a lot going on. Very excited to get into it. Before we jump into the quick question, which is a good one from Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. The website's thefantasyfootballers.com. The community is jointhefoot.com. And right now, don't forget, footclangiveaway.com. We're giving away a signed Todd Gurley and signed Lev Bell jersey. Woo! Pretty good players.
We had to pry it out of Andy's hands. The Todd Gurley jersey he was madly in love with, and we said, no, this is for the people.
It's a true story.
I am trading all of my memorabilia from any player for Pat Mahomes gear.
All
I want is Pat Mahomes gear.
If you are the lucky winner of the Todd Gurley jersey, it's probably going to smell like Andy Holloway.
That's true. I may have worn it for the duration of the season. Never took it off, and look where that got me.
Hey, you're a winner.
Hashtag FootClan title.
Yeah, you're a big winner.
All right, quick question of the day. What's the roster move you regret most from last season?
Hey, well, I do try and live by no regrets.
That is one of your team names.
Just for everyone out there. But I have one. Oh, yeah, in the league.
So you're starting?
Yeah, and I'm not even going to – it doesn't matter what the trade was because I traded for Devontae Parker. This was early on in the season. I was trying to get ahead of the curve.
Say no more.
Trying to get in on that I was trying to be the conductor of that hype train. And
Get him before he hits.
It kept being so tantalizing. I mean, you could see it, and it ended up being like one of those, back in the early 90s, it was the art where it's just a whole bunch of dots, and you have to cross your eyes.
Oh,
and then the 3D image pops out.
The magic something.
The magic eye puzzle.
It's a schooner. That's a Mallrats reference for you guys who
You're
don't
going
who
deep
don't know
here with the references, Mike.
But it's like I traded for one of those, but then I could never.
You never could see.
I could not. The depth of effect just never worked.
The good news for you is you tried to trade for him before he hit, and you still have. So
that is an excellent point.
Who knows?
He's staring at the magic eye puzzle.
just keep
something
looking.
might appear.
He's just simmering there.
It's a cat. All right, I'll take one. This is from our Dynasty League, and this is fresh. Like I regret this trade every day of my life.
I regretted it for you as soon as you made the trade.
No, and I get that. Here was the trade. The trade was in our Dynasty League. I lost Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. I was a team competing for the championship in my eyes, and so I traded my first-round pick for Matt Ryan to come in and step in, be able to stream. I think I had Phillip Rivers, and so I just wanted to be able to lock down that position, take a run at the title, And then I figure in the future I'll be able to unload them, and that's fine. The problem is that despite the fact that I still believe I have the best roster in our league, I barely missed the playoffs due to a few stupid start-sit decisions, and so I ended up with the 6th pick.
That you gave up for Matt Ryan.
I gave up for Matt Ryan. I thought I was going to have
What
the
makes
11th, 12th pick.
The twisting knife in that story is your lack of belief in Matt Ryan all year.
Yes,
You
I
started
know.
before the season. He was your Doug Martin.
Yep.
You know, where Mike didn't like when Mike traded for Doug Martin 2 years ago, even though he hated him. This is what happens if you spend that capital.
I threw
on
all the cold water on him, and then I took a cold shower.
That was only half the twist. The other twist was the fact that he had Blake the Snake, the number 1 quarterback, over the final 3 weeks on his roster.
True. And Matt Ryan
got a snake, man.
Matt Ryan might have been in my starting lineup. Thanks for that. I almost. I don't know if you were aware of this, Andy. I almost flipped Matt Ryan for the 105 a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Which would have been great. Then I improved my first-round pick slot.
But it didn't work?
Didn't pan out?
Well, no, because you traded for the 105.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Andy.
You're welcome. All right. Well, my biggest regret, I traded a third-round pick in one of our keeper leagues to acquire DeMarco Murray about 2/3 of the way through the season because I wanted another running back on the roster to help me close out the year. I felt like that depth was going to get me over the top, and DeMarco was finally going to come alive. And all that did was bring me pain because DeMarco, he had a couple big games on the weeks that I benched him. The weeks that I had to start him in good matchups, he stunk. And we all know DeMarco did not finish the year well. So that was my biggest regret from last year. We all have regrets. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, there's plenty of deals we made that we love. I mean, Andy was looking back through his list of 700,000 trades from 2017, and it took him a while to find a regret. I mean, we've got good moves and bad moves, but it happens to everyone. You just keep making moves.
Yeah, I saw that I picked up Jerick McKinnon for free off of the waiver wire last year. It's funny when you look back and see what happened because so much is going on so fast. That was when people bid big money for Latavius, which he ended up being pretty good. It's just free was nice as well.
It's a good price.
And now he's been freed as the Devontae Freeman.
He certainly has.
All right, let's get into some news.
News and notes from around the league.
Did you turn those drops up? Do those seem a little louder, Mike? Did you
not loud enough?
Did you turn up your amplifier?
I may or may not have bumped them up a little bit.
It did sound like a really stupid free agency drop, though.
Wait, you wanted something different?
I don't know. All the news is free agents.
You wanted – all right.
Free agent frenzy.
You know, we always said let's not let the success of this show go to our heads. And there you are. You're demanding prima donna. You want drops whenever you can get them.
Mm-hmm. You just wait. The next time you're gone, I'm going to sit in that chair.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to be
It's going to be 35 Blake the Snake drops in a row until people turn off and unsubscribe. All right, more free agency moves. Speaking of Krampus, Doug Martin signs.
Wait, I got to figure out what sound does Krampus actually make?
It's not that one.
It's probably more like, really? Because he's trying to eat your kids. He's Krampus.
Yeah, that was frightening. 1-year deal for Doug Martin to the Raiders.
Fava beans and
to
nice
the
Chianti.
Raiders.
Now, the Raiders have Marshawn Lynch, and they have DeAndre
they're
Washington.
surely going to cut
have
Marshawn Lynch after they brought in Doug Martin.
Jalen
right?
Richard. Well, on the 18th, so this is already passed, they did not cut Marshawn Lynch. He's already received an extra $1 million roster bonus. Marshawn Lynch is the starter. That's the way that I, without a doubt, see this team. It'll be a 1A, B, C, D
Two
group
reasons.
here.
2 reasons Marshawn's the starter. 1, he's still on the roster. And 2, he should be the starter.
He's way better
he ran,
than Doug Martin.
We forget.
Sound logic.
4.3 a carry last year. Doug Martin had a disastrous season. And so they bring him in as depth. For whatever reason, they wanted another body there. Jalen Richard probably moping around the house at this point. DeAndre Washington disappointed. But that's the way it goes. You have a veteran running back who's had big years in Doug Martin, and you bring him in and you give yourself the opportunity to disappoint all fantasy owners who own any Raider running back.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Is I agree, Marshawn Lynch will be the primary ball carrier, but now they were splitting time between all three. I think eventually it really got down to Marshawn and Jalen Richard, but Doug Martin will be mixed in here, and it's going to be rough for fantasy.
All right, let's talk about another Raider acquisition. Recently cut, longtime Packer, Jordy Nelson signs a 2-year, $15 million deal with the Raiders, and they instantaneously cut Michael Crabtree, who is, I believe, 3 years younger, if not more.
Yeah, and it was pretty much near the same money. So this is a decision where, we always talk about follow the money. You look at the Raiders, you look at Gruden and this regime, they chose, I want Jordy over Crabtree. And you have to say, why? Do they just believe he's better? Then that's a clear reason. Is there a chance here that they're wanting to establish Amari Cooper as the predominant offensive wide receiving weapon and say, hey, let's break up the Crabtree thing and let him move on, bring in Jordy to play the role of a 2, because I'm not sure that Michael Crabtree was ever going to go to that role of being the 2 on that team with Derek Carr.
Yeah, I mean, Crabtree had 89 receptions in 2016. He went down to 58 last year.
Yeah, missed some games.
8 touchdowns in both seasons, but not a very good year. 618 yards last year.
Terrible year.
And I have to wonder if there's something beyond, Jordy, the perennial favorite teammate. Obviously, at this stage in his career, I've compared him to Titans Eric Decker, right? Once Eric Decker left New York and he went to Tennessee, there was a role for him, but I don't think it's one that you really wanted in fantasy.
This is not a nice comparison, no.
Well, you had the Crabtree in the Talib fights. I don't know, maybe they just don't want to have to deal with that headache anymore, or maybe they were so pleased with the last time they got a Green Bay wide receiver in James Jones.
Oh, that can't be it.
That they wanted to,
maybe we're just burying the lead here. And
remember, they almost brought Randall Cobb in too.
Let's talk about Amari Cooper.
Maybe they're just signing players who were great in like 2014. They got
back when Gruden was a coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, oh man, that Jordy, he's so young and fast. How about Doug Martin?
And it's just a little over a 2-year age difference.
All right, so I do and have believed that Amari Cooper is worth a strong look in fantasy. I know that we've been down this road.
Price just went up.
The price did go up. But we knew it was going to be up because that was kind of what we were saying on the show with him before, was that people are going to pay for young, talented wide receivers. That's why Devontae Parker keeps getting drafted, and he'll get drafted again.
Yeah, but nowhere near the level that Amari Cooper's. I'm saying Amari Cooper with Michael Crabtree there, he probably would have been a back of the second, early third-round pick, but Amari Cooper hype is going to be very, very strong.
Do you buy it?
I don't
either. I mean, I said a couple weeks ago when the value was looking like Cooper was going to fall in drafts, I actually liked the value there. I just don't trust the Gruden-led Raiders to be some kind of top 10 offense.
Nor do I.
If they end up in that middle of the pack to bottom third as far as offensive points scored,
I don't know what to think about you and Amari Cooper, Jason.
Yeah,
do you like him? Do you hate him? Do you like him? Do you hate him?
This is one of those relationships where it's like you're not even sure who broke up with who.
Right.
Where they both tell a different story, but we're going to get back together.
We need an official flower for Jason for an Amari Cooper.
What, like a pet?
I love him. I love him not.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Because he's all over the place.
Well, the problem here is
Jason.
The problem is Jason's going to take credit for whatever he does.
You darn right.
That's the problem.
Told you.
Michael Crabtree is now a Baltimore Raven, a 3-year, $21 million deal. This is a big story because Ryan Grant, former Washington Redskin wide receiver, had signed or agreed to terms to a 4-year, $29 million contract with $14.5 million guaranteed, and then failed the physical, coincidentally, moments after Crabtree was released by the Raiders. So
garbage.
It does seem like you hate to accuse people of that, but
well, the good thing is we don't have to accuse the Ravens of doing anything dubious here with the results from Ryan Grant's physical, because everyone else has already done that for us. So we just point to the fact that everyone else, I'm not saying we do, but everyone else thinks
The fact that
they're definitely they called the doctor and said, hey, we're going to need to fail that physical.
He saw a picture of Michael Crabtree in his lungs on the X-ray and declined the physical. And now Ryan Grant's passed the physical with other teams and with other experts, and he'll go make way less money and have a way lower, worse opportunity somewhere else.
It's just I feel awful for Ryan Grant. I mean,
Did you see he updated his Twitter bio?
Was it the
to include the $14.5 million guaranteed? He made a joke about like hitting the ATM or something.
Yeah, it's awful because Ryan Grant shouldn't have been signed to that level of a contract.
Right.
And I feel like the Baltimore Ravens felt the social pressures of everyone kind of laughing at them, going, "What are you doing with Ryan Grant? He's a fine player. Shouldn't have gotten that contract." But in that time, Ryan Grant thought he had a job.
Yep.
So he could have been out there to these other places talking to teams working on a contract and gotten a better situation. But no, the Ozzie and the Ravens hosed him, and it's weak and it's gross.
Buyer's remorse, but that being said,
Michael Crabtree's a Raven.
Crabtree's a much better wide receiver than Ryan Grant.
That's fine.
And so for the Ravens, I think that this works out pretty well for them. I think John Brown and Michael Crabtree are certainly a better 1-2 combination than what you thought you were going to have just like 4 days ago in Baltimore. I don't like Joe Flacco. We're going to have to see. I think they're going to go after a quarterback. I think Baltimore will go after a quarterback in this year's draft. I do. But there could be some fantasy production here. Crabtree, if it is Flacco, Mike and I have brought up the fact that Flacco generally has one receiver that gets hyper-targeted, and Crabtree is that style of player.
Crabtree could catch 80 balls.
Yes.
On this roster.
Yeah, I think Crabtree could pull a Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Which was very fantasy relevant with Joe Flacco.
Danny Woodhead.
Oh! It's this. This shouldn't be sad music. This should be triumphant. Celebrate
Danny Woodhead has
celebrate
retired.
the career that was Danny Woodhead. I mean, the guy should not have been in the NFL, but here he is with a great career. Was a stud for fantasy football for multi-years. I salute you, Danny Woodhead.
Yeah.
I always loved Woodhead. He was one of my favorite fantasy players. Always undervalued.
Because he was a free running back
draft.
one in the 6th or the 7th round.
LeGarrette Blount, 1 year, $2 million deal with the Lions. Still trying to play on every team in the NFL. LeGarrette Blount, but still productive and a good signing for them.
Yes.
Better than the proposed Frank Gore that we heard rumors that they were closing in on a deal. LeGarrette Blount proved that he had it left in the tank and did it in the playoffs last year.
Better or worse than Murray that was down there working out?
Probably better than Murray because they have established pass catchers in the offense out of the running back position. If you had told me you had nothing in the backfield, I'd rather sign DeMarco Murray than LeGarrette Blount because of the flexibility you get with Murray. But I think they probably made the right move with Blount.
Yeah, so here's the lay of the land for the Detroit Lions running backs. You have LeGarrette Blount, kind of that bruiser, goal line, first down back. You've still got Amir Abdul under contract, Theo Riddick under contract, and then they re-signed Zach Zinner. So it's a full core, and with all of that said, the people in Detroit are still expecting the Lions to spend a high pick on a running back, which is very interesting.
I would expect it too. I think they're going to be willing to move forward with a brand new back and let Amir Abdullah
LeGarrette
hop
Blount
on the train and right away.
LeGarrette Blount is the type of veteran that you sign when you are still thinking there's a good chance that I'll have a better running back on the roster.
I like that you called him a first down back, not even a first and second down back.
Yeah,
like he's got the gas for the first down.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting up there in age.
Well, Mike, you called it here on the show. Jeremy Hill has signed a very non-guaranteed 1 year, $1.25 million contract.
Yeah, and it's
with the Patriots.
I don't have the full guarantee money in front of me, but it's very, very small. And Andy has so dubbed this the Hilly versus Gilly situation because only one of those guys will be on this roster come actual NFL season.
Jeremy Hill or Mike Gillisley.
Yes. So I don't know who it will be, but but because Rex Burkhead signed a 3-year deal, as far as a New England Patriots running back, a very lucrative deal, and we saw what happened with Gillislee last year. Rex Burkhead had completely taken over the role of the goal line ball carrier, but Jeremy Hill, Mike Gillislee, Jason, who do you think?
Yeah, I would say Hilly or Gilly. Make your pick.
Who's on? Hilly, Team Hilly or Team Gilly?
I'm on Team Hilly.
I am as well. I'm on Team Hilly.
We
I
need
think
buttons made up.
Jeremy Hill
No, we don't.
has shown, his rookie year that he's got the talent. He's still very young. And, he's worked with Rex Burkhead in a backfield before. They're reunited here. And the fact that
the roles are reversed now.
The fact that Jeremy Hill would take this deal with so little guaranteed money early. This is early into free agency. He could have shopped around. He could have gone to other teams. I'm positive that he would have been able to get more guaranteed than he did now from someone. Just a little bit more.
I don't think so. I thought he was on the precipice of the CFL. He's done nothing and gotten worse and worse and worse. I thought he was on the brink of being out of the NFL.
He's 25 years old. He's had 2 double-digit touchdown seasons, and he was injured last year where he got the surgery that he elected to do so that he could go into free agency healthy. And, maybe you're right, Andy. Maybe he couldn't. But my point is, because he signed this deal, I think he is really believing that he's going to have a spot on the roster is a prove-it type of deal.
Bet on yourself, and if you succeed, possibly you can earn a bigger contract next year, and you're on the Patriots, you have a pretty good chance to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, about 50-50.
Yeah,
historically.
Exactly.
All right, before we jump into the rest of the news and then some mailbag questions on today's show, I do want to remind you, the Ultimate Draft Kit for 2018 is available now at ultimatedraftkit.com for pre-order. Okay, you can get the lowest possible price. We're going to have all of our rookie breakdowns and rankings for your rookie drafts. As soon as the NFL draft happens, we'll get those in there so you're ready to go. And then throughout the offseason, you're going to get everything that comes with the Ultimate Draft Kit. That's the 2018 stat projections. That's the consistency charts from last year, which were a huge hit. All of the tier breakdowns. So when you go into your draft, you can see which players at which tiers. We include risk ratings. We include 100-plus video profiles, sleepers, breakouts, busts, values. Matt Harmon's back once again with the reception perception content upgraded for 2018. So this is
gotta have the UDK.
Everything you need. And look, if you had it last year, you get what it's about, and you're coming back. And if you haven't explored it, check it out at ultimatedraftkit.com. And like I said, you're going to get it at the cheapest possible price right now at ultimatedraftkit.com.
We want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's show, the meal kit delivery service. They shop, they plan, they deliver. They help you out when it comes to cooking. No more time-consuming meal planning or grocery shopping. HelloFresh makes it so easy to cook delicious, balanced dinners for less than $10 a meal. Just choose your delivery day. Get everything sent right to your door in recyclable, insulated packaging. With 3 plans to choose from, including classic, veggie, and family, there's something for everyone. Plus, there's a lot of one-pot recipes for seriously speedy cooking, minimal cleanup. Look forward to your HelloFresh box delivery as the highlight of your week, knowing dinner just got that much easier. We have all used HelloFresh. We all love it. It makes things easy, and it's delicious. And right now, our listeners, you can get $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. Visit HelloFresh.com. You enter the code FOOTBALLERS30. That's HelloFresh.com. The offer code is FOOTBALLERS30. You're going to get $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. Make dinner easy. Make it delicious with HelloFresh.
So fresh.
So fresh!
All right. Fresh trade for you. The Patriots have swapped 5th and 6th round picks with the Raiders to acquire Cordarrelle Patterson. They had a need.
Stop helping the Patriots.
Yeah, people should really just not.
Stop.
It's like trading with me. You just shouldn't do it.
Yeah, the Patriots have taken 2 of their back-end picks that are, usually throwaway picks, or you get lucky on someone, or you find a special teams guy, and they've gotten 2 really good players, and Cordarrelle Patterson is a great get for them in the return game. They lost Danny Amendola,
and Dion Lewis,
who was a return specialist, and for them, I think this is a great get. Now, for fantasy, he's irrelevant. He's nothing. I've
already had the tweets. People want to know, is this where he's finally going to break out?
And that's why, I have Cordarrelle Patterson. We got a deep bench in the dynasty. I've got him on the roster. He's one of those. I could cut him at any moment times. I'm packaging him in every deal I can right now with the news, oh, he's a Patriot. Maybe someone will think they're getting something because, no, he's going to be a return guy only.
All right, A.J. McCarron, 2-year deal with the Bills.
For only $10 million. He signed a backup deal.
Yeah.
That's it's
congratulations on winning the settlement against the NFL.
Arbitration.
It's really unfortunate for A.J. McCarron, who thought he was going to go get Mike Glennon money, go be a starter, and he's already signed a backup deal.
Would not be surprised if the Bills make a trade, move up, grab a quarterback.
They're trying.
Tyler Eifert, re-signed by the Bengals.
That's a
the market
surprise.
must have been soft. 1 year, $5.5 million prove-it deal. Still just 27 years old. Still super talented. Still a great weapon in the seam for Andy Dalton. So if he is healthy and on the field, and obviously incentivized by staying healthy and getting another deal next year, he could be a surprise high-risk play for fantasy owners next year.
Yeah, no, I like it. The fact that he doesn't have to learn a new system, he doesn't have to get some kind of new rapport with the quarterback for the tight end position that usually takes a little while to click. This is great. I mean, obviously it kills Tyler Kroft, but I think that Tyler Eifert, I mean, if he stays healthy this year, if he stays healthy, he's definitely a top 10 tight end.
Yes.
I would assume so because he'll have more than 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Austin,
he'll make some top 10.
Seferian-Jenkins, ASJ, signs with the Jags. 2-year, $10 million deal. The Jaguars pick up another pass-catching option. They have a very a broad group of players. Dante Moncrief, his deal fully guaranteed.
Woo!
Makes you say, well, follow the money. Is he going to be the starter there? Probably.
Yes.
It's going to be Moncrief across from,
Marquise Lee.
from Marquise Lee with Dede manning the slot, and then you've got, ASJ now, a pass-catching weapon, somebody that they'll use in the red zone, somebody that I think they want to give Blake Bortles high-percentaged opportunities when he throws inside the red zone. It's not going to be just Leonard Fournette, but you're going to have, look, Moncrief is a big boy. And then you give him Moncrief and ASJ, I think it only helps Bortles with higher percentage passes. And then Ed Dickson signs with the Seahawks, 3-year, $14 million deal. That's pretty good money for Ed Dickson.
Yeah, and Ed Dickson is a tremendous blocking tight end. In my opinion, this locks Nick Van Nett. Maybe you don't know that name, but Nick Van Nett was a third-round pick by the Seahawks just a couple years back. It locks him in as the pass-catching tight end. Will that role be utilized with all the players that they've brought in? I guess Jaron Brown and their Terrell Pryor was alleged to be visiting.
Fake news, but yes, he was.
Well, no, I think
visiting.
The visiting
for sure,
is
yes.
true. Some people got duped on a signing. They got Uncle Chaps. But if someone has to take over the Jimmy Graham role and they continue to work like that as an offense, it's going to be Nick Van Nett.
All right, what do we have here? Just some odds and ends. Tavon Austin is
He's a Ram again.
He's going to be back with the Rams, going to compete. Got a 1-year adjustment to his deal, $5 million with $3 million extra available in incentives. Travaris Cadet coming back to the Bills.
So he'll be Shady's handcuff for the year.
Yep.
Big news.
And the Giants signed Cody Latimer, formerly of the Broncos. Right now, that should probably guarantee that Brandon Marshall will be cut. Latimer's
I would assume so.
A big guy.
Well, and Brandon Marshall can be cut for $1 million dead cap. He was not in sync with the offense. It looked poor. Looked like it was done. Then was hurt. So I would expect the Giants to move on.
Yeah, and Latimer, in case you're wondering for fantasy, he still slots in as the wide receiver 3, but probably the 5th pass-catching option.
Probably, yeah.
Behind Evan Ingram, maybe the 4th, behind Ingram. So not expecting a lot. Although last year they lost all the wide receivers, and then suddenly people climbed up the depth chart, so you should know what's going on. Big trade. The Jets got the number 3 pick in the 2018 draft from the Colts, who swapped their 3 for the Jets 6 pick, and then they also get the 37 and 49 and a second-rounder in 2019.
Nice work, Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis got a great haul for a 3-6 swap. And now the Jets most assuredly are going to grab a quarterback there at the number 3 pick. This does make you wonder, at least for me, when you talk about Saquon Barkley in Dynasty rookie drafts, where he's going to end up. I don't think he's going number 1 anymore.
No,
after the
Browns have been forced to take
the signing
a quarterback
of Carlos
at 1.
Hyde, I would
Correct.
say no.
They signed Carlos Hyde. They're talking about Duke Johnson extension, and they have come out and said that Tyrod Taylor's their starter. I don't think he's going 1. I don't think he's going to go 2 to the Giants. I think they're going to draft a quarterback because I don't know how many opportunities they're going to have to be at number 2.
Or they might trade it down to someone coming to get a quarterback like the Bills.
So and then at 3, I think the Jets are taking a quarterback.
You're looking at. I will say there's already whispers in the bushes, rumors abound that if somehow Barkley was still available, I'm just reporting. I'm reporting what the whispers are. At the 103, if Barkley was there, the Jets would still have him in play. And it would be it would be the absolute funniest thing of 2018 if the Jets gave up all of those picks to move. I mean, that would be full draft day Kevin Costner.
Yes, it would.
Gives everything up to take a player that they should not have taken at that spot. Like I said,
let me lay this
right
out
now.
Just outside of the Saquon. So
Jets,
I think
do it.
So
Do
I
it,
don't
Jets.
think the Jets are taking him. Then you get to Cleveland at 4. Cleveland at 4, I expect my thoughts here is that I think that they're going to move back. I think the pressure
They should.
at 4, their second pick.
We'll see, maybe.
I think there's going to be an opportunity for somebody to come up like Buffalo and take a quarterback. So then you're looking. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm looking theoretically at 5 and 6, which is Denver is 5, which they could take Saquon. I don't see it. And then you're looking right back at 6. So the Colts might have gotten a 37-49 in a second-round pick next year to draft the same player that they wanted. They could draft Saquon Barkley at 6 potentially. And if he doesn't go there, he's probably gone to Tampa at 7. So,
I agree.
So interesting to see how these things go. I'm excited for the draft. Obviously, everybody's excited to see what landscape there will be there for Saquon and what team he'll end up on.
If he does go to Tampa, which I think is getting more and more likely,
I'm gonna get sweaty if you start talking about that.
It's also worth noting they signed a huge contract for a starting center. That was a big problem for Tampa last year, and we've seen the difference that a quality center can make for a run game. So you improve the offensive line at the center position, and then you draft Saquon. I don't know how much higher his stock could go other than him going to Tampa.
I agree. And then you still have DeMarco Murray, Frank Gore unsigned. You still have Darren Sproles looking for a job, and Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews still out there. Not surprised. Mike Wallace.
I wanted to share a story here because we do fantasy football for a living. This is our career. This is our occupation. So sometimes when we go to talk trades with other people in our league, it can be a little bit difficult.
Yes.
Jason earlier this week, or I should say last week, made a trade. He made a tight end trade in the Dynasty League.
Oh, yes.
And this trade was he took the aging Greg Olsen and he traded him for Kyle Rudolph. Get the youth of Rudolph. Jason believes in him.
I believe a 6-year difference in age.
With Kirk Cousins coming into town. This trade happens.
Part of the reason I made the trade was because Eric Ebron was my backup and he got cut.
Right. Still looking for work. So this trade happens. And we're talking half a day later, all of a sudden, all the reports were Greg Olsen is interviewing with who was it, ESPN or Fox? ESPN to be an analyst.
And might retire. And it was like immediately, I wake up and I get a text from the guy I traded. He goes, "Did you know about this?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I would never do that." But it was unbelievable. And then the report was...
I disagree Jason would do that.
And then the report right with that was that Eric Ebron was going to visit Carolina. And I'm like, if Eric Ebron signed there and I have the starting tight end for Carolina and Greg Olsen is gone as I ship him off for Kyle Rudolph, I would have been very happy.
For those of you that heard the rumors about Greg Olsen, he did say that he is committed to play for Carolina in 2018 and beyond. This was about life after football. That's coming in off of Twitter. So he is, the alarm bells, you can calm them down. But yeah, it was community. It's so hard. It's so hard the longer we've had this show too, because you make a trade offer with somebody in your league and they auto assume you know better.
Well, because crap like this is happening for Jason.
He
would have lost a trade partner forever.
Yeah.
Here's the way that you need to be trading, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, someone sends me a trade offer. I almost always try to make a trade work. For me, right? I don't just say, no, I don't want to do it. Generally, I'm like, okay, you send me a couple players. Do you want this player? I'm going, wow. All right, let me see if I can get a bunch of stuff for that player you want. But that doesn't happen for me anymore. Nobody does that back to me. They just cancel the deal.
Yeah.
They just say no because they think I know something about the player that's going to make them great.
And you usually do. Hey, I'm going to need that breaking news button, Andy.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news.
All right. Just talked about how important a good center can be for the run game. Ian Rappaport reporting that Mike Pouncey is expected to sign with the Chargers.
Oh, wow.
Get your Melvin Gordon.
Mike Pouncey.
I already got my Melvin Gordon.
Mike Pouncey has not been very good for a while.
He's been injured.
He has been injured.
Oh, okay.
He was very good.
Oh, yeah, no, he was.
And then he got injured.
That was a few years ago.
I think it's a good addition to that offensive line, and it will
3-time Pro Bowler.
It will help.
Should say get your Austin Eckler ready. That's
you
what you should be
would
saying.
say that. All right, mailbag time.
Mailbag.
Mailbag, Eckler. All right. Brooks, did you filter out all other questions and just left me with Pat Mahomes related stuff?
Oh.
No.
Huh.
Oh. All right. I love Pat Mahomes, by the way.
Yes,
I just want
Yes, you do.
I just
We're
wanna
very
throw-
aware.
well, you guys are aware, but I don't think the people are aware that I am a big Pat Mahomes fan. There are times that you trade, you do a trade, and then you try to find a way to like the player. I liked the player, and I went out and made a trade in our Dynasty League because I want to acquire him now. I want to get Pat Mahomes now.
All right.
Just letting you know.
He'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you have a question for the podcast, you can send it to us on the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the Submit a Question button. Or you can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. We are going to kick off today's mailbag segment with a voicemail question.
Oh.
Hi, Ballers. I have a quick question concerning guaranteed money. In the Fantasy Frenzy episode, you mentioned that you got excited when you mentioned that Rex Goathead got a lot of guaranteed money, and I was wondering why you would be excited about that, because my thinking was if they guaranteed a lot of money to him, they would not want him to get injured, and thus they would use him sparingly. So just clarifying how guaranteed money translates into fantasy production. Thank you.
No,
Good question.
No, this is guaranteed money, as in they really wanted him back on the team, and this is
an
what
investment level.
Exactly.
Is
This
what
is what football players want. This is all they can get because unlike every other sport, like MLB, NBA, their contracts when they sign them are not just fully guaranteed. So when you're looking at a contract situation, you'll see players sometimes will get a contract. You go, holy crap, that guy signed for $70 million. Then you go, oh, you look at the actual guarantee is
I'll
only
give
in
you
the
a good-
20s or something.
A good example would have been this Ryan Grant deal. The Ryan Grant deal happened the same time that John Brown signed with Baltimore. Baltimore gave Ryan Grant, presumably, it was going to be $14.5 million guaranteed and a $29 million deal. John Brown got a 1-year, $5 million deal. That's what we say to follow the money, because we're saying, well, you've got big plans for Ryan Grant because you just invested $14.5 million. You're interested in using that investment on the field.
Yeah, and
it's a guarantee that they are involved.
Teams are never going to play a player less because of fear that they will have to pay them guaranteed money when they're injured. I mean, they pay up. The highest guaranteed, money goes to the players that play the most. I mean, it always does. This is really just a matter of what they are valuing a player at, because Rex Burkhead, maybe he goes somewhere else, signs somewhere else. But they said, hey, we want you so bad that we're going to guarantee you this money. That says they're going to use him, not use him.
For example, I just looked it up. The Jeremy Hill contract, he got a $150,000 signing bonus. They can get out of this contract for that signing bonus, and that would be it.
That tells you they're not committed to giving him a roster spot.
Correct.
I mean, a good example at the top is the whole point of the Kirk Cousins deal is every dollar is guaranteed to Kirk Cousins. That's what attracted him to that offer over maybe anything else. If the NFL went to fully guaranteed deals, you would see smaller deals.
Yeah,
that's what
shorter,
you would see.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, or the total money would come down if you were guaranteeing the whole deal, because you have to account for risk. I mean, there's a risk component to it. All right, here's a question. Is Keelan Cole, this one comes in from Ethan in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Is Keelan Cole better than Marquise Lee and Dede Westbrook? He ended the season leading the Jags with 748 yards receiving. specifically in a PPR league.
With much fewer snaps as well. He didn't have a huge snap percentage. Keelan Cole passes the eyeball test, passes the stat test, and might not play.
Unfortunately, Keelan Cole, his best comp is what Willie Snead did with New Orleans a couple years ago. Undrafted player, came in and made a splash, but you have to follow the money. Again, D.D. Westbrook, high draft capital investment and monetary investment, just re-signed Marquise Lee, and then just paid Dante Moncrief a ton of money. And I love Keelan Cole. I have him on my team. I want him to be great. He's not going to be great.
Did you see that Dante Moncrief's entire contract was guaranteed?
I saw that earlier on the show when I brought it up.
Incredible.
In passing,
We're saying it twice.
But it was
so I did see that, though.
Keelan Cole, as soon as all the wide receivers were healthy in Jacksonville, and by that I mean Allen Hurns, Lee, and Westbrook, Keelan Cole was relegated to the bench.
If you look at playoff snaps, Keelan Cole had 33% of the snaps compared to the other players. And Allen Hurns is still on the roster right now. There is not a guarantee that Allen Hurns is cut. And if he's not cut, he'll likely be restructured, but he will play. They invested big money into Allen Hurns, so if he's on the roster, he will play.
Yes.
So there are a lot of people out of Jacksonville that don't think he's going to be cut. It's not like they don't have money. So that's just the perspective that I've heard. We'll see. All right, Ryan in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Hey, footballers, is there a rule of thumb for how long you hold on to a high upside sleeper drafted in the later rounds? I drafted Kamara in the 15th round and dropped him week 3 before he was involved to pick up Who Even Cares Now. Great job on the show, fellas. Keep up the awesome work. Ryan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan.
I feel like we had a similar question a couple weeks ago.
But it's case by case, and you cannot beat yourself up on Alvin Kamara. It was the trade of Adrian Peterson. That's what opened everything up, and if you could have foreseen that coming, then you are some kind of psychic, and you should be
go to Vegas.
Yeah, you should be investing elsewhere and padding that bank account. But probably a little bit. If you're going to hold on to these guys, you just have to make a commitment that you're going to hold them 5 weeks.
Usually, when I draft a guy towards the end of the fantasy rounds, what I'm looking for is a specific type of hold. So come into week 1. When I finish week 1 in the NFL, I know I'm going to be cutting people. I know that for sure because the waivers week 1 are incredible. So I will usually be drafting a guy that I say there's a chance he comes out and is the starter or surprises with carries. And if he doesn't, I cut him. But if you're talking about a guy like a rookie, like an Alvin Kamara, usually when I draft that guy, I'm not so quick to just get rid of him because rookies tend to taper up a little bit, get carries more and more as the season goes on. They earn time.
It's like Jeremy Hill. The year of Jeremy Hill, I was so convinced that Jeremy Hill could take the job from Gio Bernard at being a second-round pick. He didn't exactly take the job. Gio got hurt, but I had made the commitment because the Bengals made a second-round commitment to hold Jeremy Hill if the whole year if I had to do that. So that's what you kind of have to look at is make a decision on the player, what you think the upside is, what you think the team invested into them, and just say I'm going to hold it out as long as I can.
Yeah, and you don't want to draft too many of those same type of people because you will
clogged.
need roster spots.
Yeah. Are these Is this a nickname, Brooks, that you put in here? Avery and San Rafael.
Brooks, are you there?
Yes, I had to pull it up to see.
Okay, Avery and San Rafael. You don't have the show up.
Oh,
during the show,
they're
there,
just
Brooks?
recommending a nickname here.
He's playing Minesweeper
He wants
right now.
Teddy and the Jets.
That would be good if he wasn't the third string quarterback.
No, that's with the 3.
Oh, 1 T for each spot on the bench.
Mike's trying it out.
It's obvious. I've seen other people talking about it, so that would not be not
as
original.
Organic. No,
it's still pretty good, though.
Oh, it's fun to do.
Teddy. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But I don't think that we're going to have many reasons to talk about him this year, unfortunately.
Probably not.
At DanaBoy7 off of Twitter, when is your way too early mock draft coming up?
Soon.
Ooh.
It is this week.
Is it this week?
It is. It is Thursday.
Oh, my goodness.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Mock draft.
The best shows of the year.
Come on, Andy.
Oh, man. Dad?
I think you should be excited. I
Love
just didn't
mock
get
drafts.
into the song.
That's
I
where you failed.
I didn't feel it. I didn't follow the
Jay,
vibe.
were
People felt it.
Were you feeling
Oh,
that,
I
Jay?
felt the
I
heck
felt
out
it.
of that.
Brooks, can we get a ruling from Judge Giamatti on that mock draft impromptu song?
Amazing, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just happy Brooks answered. I don't know what he's doing over
He
there.
clicked on a mine. The
Was
game
it
is over.
Minesweeper? Oh,
Yeah.
man. All right. Sandy B in Glendale, Arizona.
Wait, hold on. Who's this from?
Sandy B.
Oh, okay. Sandy Biscuits?
Oh, maybe.
I see. I just moved to Arizona. I'm wondering if you guys know a good hospital.
Yep, that's him.
Because let's be honest, I'm going to need one. Thanks. From Sammy.
Sounds like someone got one over on Andy here.
Yeah. I would say that was also Brooks that got one over on me, considering he put this together.
Okay, the Mayo Clinic is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to
peop-
do some good work
Good
for you.
people.
That dry air.
Sam Bradford, you'll be just fine. We will make sure you play at least 8.
Games?
I'm not going to specify.
You're just going to say 8 snaps?
Snaps, quarters,
TBD.
games.
The number 8.
Yeah. Well, at least he made $40 million.
All right.
All right. Jim Sanford off of Twitter. Which Vikings player will be the best value in the draft? That's a good question.
Ooh.
The best overall value in Minnesota. That might be. I would say I got 2 candidates. I got a big one and a little one. Big candidate. I think it might be Stephon Diggs, because again, I'm wanting to take the lowest draft capital choice on that wide receiver core, because you've got a new quarterback coming in, and I just think, hey, maybe he latches onto Diggs and you get a better value. The other one would be Kyle Rudolph, even though I still think his ceiling is fairly capped. You get him for practically free after last year.
What about Laquan Treadwell?
Nope.
Jarius Wright is gone. He was improving in play time.
It's possible.
Look,
But what's a value? Isn't a value a player you will play on your fantasy team? Because that's just not what Laquan Treadwell will be.
I still believe that the
Oh,
best,
there's a Diggs jersey up on the wall today.
there you go. Perfect timing. I still believe that the best value will be Adam Thielen, even if he is going ahead of Stephon Diggs, because, look, I mean, Adam Thielen has performed at a top 10 wide receiver level right now post the Kirk trade. I tried to look at data post Kirk trade. It looks like he's still 3rd round. And if he does what, he did for a majority of last season, that's going to be a value.
All right. We're going to close it out here with a question from Michael O'Malley. How will Pat Mahomes affect KC's numbers trending up or down? So we're talking Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Kareem Hunt.
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes. Patty
Mahomes.
Mayonnaise. That's what I call him.
Oh, Pat.
I call him Patty Mayonnaise.
What?
All right. It's more of a thing between friends.
Yeah, I suppose. If I have to pick up or down comparatively to what Alex Smith did last year, then I have to say down.
Yeah, you have to go down, considering Alex Smith had one of the best years of his entire career, and there was a ton of fantasy relevance there. I believe it will be down from last season. You've still got
Travis
Mahomes,
Kelce,
who I really like Mahomes. I think I like him as much as you do, Andy, as far as a prospect. But he is still coming into his first season playing. And, there's going to be some time to learn and, some issues there. It's very rare for a first-year quarterback to just come in and light the world on fire.
does he throw for
not-
4,000 yards in Andy Reid's offense with Watkins, Hill, Hunt, and Kelce? Because last year, Alex Smith threw for 4,042 yards. I believe that was the first time in Kansas City.
Yes.
Throwing for 4,000 yards. I'm just curious, does Pat Mahomes throw for 4,000 yards?
I actually statted out Pat Mahomes the other day, and I put him just over 4,000. It did cross the 4.
yeah.
There you go.
Did you know that?
But the touchdowns, I think, are going to be down from what Alex Smith was doing last year, and that's where the fantasy production really comes from.
And look, granted, we are talking about a very different time in football because the rules are for passing. It's a lot easier now. But Donovan McNabb never threw for over 4,000 yards.
That's an Andy Reid-led quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're right. Times have changed.
Yeah. So if McNabb
4,000 is a lot, though, especially for a rookie. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
I'm not guaranteeing Pat Mahomes throws for 4,000.
I would take the under of 4,000.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be very interesting. I mean, they obviously are putting he's in a very enviable position as a young
certainly.
quarterback. Can you imagine a situation better for somebody coming into the league with a quarterback guru of a coach and then having above average skill position players at every turn?
The only thing that would be better for Pat Mahomes would be if he had Kansas City's defense from last year.
Yeah. Well, that's why 4,000
Not for fantasy.
I'm not talking about fantasy. I'm talking about Pat Mahomes coming into the league, your first year of really playing. You are in a plush position.
All right, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. We always appreciate your reviews.
Apparently, we're mock drafting on Thursday.
We are mock drafting on Thursday, and always check out draft.com/ballers. That's where we play best ball all offseason long. That's where we play DFS in season. Draft.com/ballers. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll catch you on Thursday. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.